And, of course, the other big story, and again, we're going to get to that tape from yesterday. Oh, Amy Ohler. Oh, got to be my favorite reporter in all of, I hate to say it, I hate to pick favorites because there's a lot of them I like, and she's just so charming. She's one of the most affable, charming, and may I say, attractive people in broadcasting today. And that incident yesterday where she was out covering a house fire near Great Bend, and some neighbor came up and started yelling at her about, you people are vultures. Of course they're vultures. They're vultures so that people like you and I can tune into Channel 7 or the Newzjunky and look at pictures of things being destroyed. Of course it's vulturism. But this woman attacked Amy and pushed over her camera and everything, and it must have scared her. And I don't know, I hope Time Warner takes the time to get Amy some counseling after that encounter. And plus, I mean, she's out there in this beautiful-looking white coat and everything. I mean, very stylish and everything, out at a house fire in Great Bend. I mean, of course the neighbors are going to get a little ticked off. They look at her and they think it's like, some socialite coming to Great Bend. And you don't see many socialites in Great Bend, I'm telling you. So, yeah, Amy, be careful. You got to dress down a little bit if you go to these places. Be one of the folks. Be one of the folks. Yeah, we've got, let's play a little of that tape from the Amy Ohler confrontation at that house fire out in Great Bend. I don't know why it didn't make print media here. This kind of, the people covering the news, making news, is what media is all about these days. We are the stars, and so on. But let's listen to a little of this tape here. Now, she's getting more agitated here. You got to see this to believe it. There she comes.
Oh, my God, somebody... Oh, my God!
Holy moly! Out in Great Bend, that woman charged the camera and knocked it over. Those things are expensive. They're expensive. Holy cow. I was scared for Amy there. Scared for Amy Ohler. I never would want that to happen to her. There's reporters I wouldn't mind seeing that happen, but holy cow. That was incredible. And that'll be all over YouTube, all over the nation. She's going to be famous as a result of that. Now she's got to explain to her bosses at Time Warner why the camera's wrecked, but they should really get a lot out of that story in the coming days, whether they arrest the perpetrator or not. But isn't it true? The lady said, you prey on people like us. And it is true. I've worked in the media. I've been there. You know, bubble-headed bleach blonde comes on at 5, tells you about a plane crash with a gleam in her eye. It's interesting when people die. Give us dirty laundry. The old Don Henley song. It's very, very true. And there's no doubt about it. When there's a house fire, especially a house fire on Christmas and that type of thing, there's sort of a voyeurism there. You know, people don't tune into the news to see a serious discussion of the issues of the day. And that's why the news decision makers say, well, I don't like to cover government or politics, and we don't like to cover that, and they just don't want to do that. We're busy doing 5-part series on this and that, or tragic stories like the lady whose daughter died possibly of the use of that drug Gardasil or something that was on Channel 7 last night, and stories like this, where the story about Amy Ohler being charged by the lady will be more news than the people losing their home. Of course you prey on people. And that's why shows like Cops are so popular, because it's always scruffy people that are, they barge into the trailer with cameras running, and the guys in their wife-beater T-shirts and their unshaven faces, and a cross-eyed kid, and a bunch of empty cans of Milwaukee's Best strewn about the place. And, people like to look at that and say, oh, I'm better than that. That makes me feel better about myself, I may not have everything in the world, but I feel better about myself because I see that on the news, and that's the permanent underclass, and I'm not one of them. I'm part of middle America, family values, and all of that. Yeah, it does make people feel better, and the news helps reinforce that. We go out and we show these people who are disadvantaged, or in some cases just plain dumb or whatever, but if it's nice people, different story. And that's why the perp walks always have, we see a lot more of certain people in perp walks than others, because nice people don't have to go in perp walks in orange suits in front of the cameras. It's just the way it is. So, is the lady right in saying you prey on us? There's a bit of justice in that. I'm not saying that someone as sweet and charming and just a wonderfulness as Amy Ohler should be on the receiving end of all of this. But there is some truth to it. When you have to go to somebody's house and you're standing there yucking it up with the firemen and the cops and rolling tape, and meanwhile there's people mourning the loss of their pets or their kids or whoever else died in the fire. I mean, yeah. Same thing when you're sitting there on the riverbed or something, waiting, while they're searching for a floater or something like that. Of course, it's you're praying out. That's news fills an entertainment void, and you can't really blame the news people. People want to see that. They want to see what's going on in their community, the traffic accidents, the fires, and so on. It's just the way it is. So, does the media prey on these people? I'm sure the great thinkers of Watertown media would say, no, we're guardians of the First Amendment and the public's right to know. And they'd write little blogs on everything, and they'd defend it and everything. But in their heart of hearts, they've got to realize that in many cases they do prey on people who are distressed, in trouble, or vulnerable, or whatever. It's the way it is. 755-1240 is our phone number, and we'll be back with more. Boy, that's going to get me in trouble saying that, I'll tell you. Just one last observation on the whole thing with this, and maybe you didn't. I don't know if Channel 7 carried the story or not about Amy getting charged by this, woman who was upset at the house fire in Champion, but town of Champion. It did make a lot of the local media blogs like News Blues and some others around the country. I mean, it's going to be all over the place, certainly, as media people examine this phenomenon and wring their hands of any sense of guilt themselves. But I have to say this about Amy, and to wear winter white and to look so good out in such a rough environment as a house fire out in the middle of nowhere, but to wear it like winter white, I guess that's what the fashion people call it, when you're out in the field doing that kind of reporting, I'm not sure there's too many other of the women reporters in this market who could get away with that kind of avant-garde fashion sense. It really it sort of just lurched out at me as I watched the video. So definitely it looked good, Amy. There's no doubt about it. And keep up the good fashion there.